If you rely on Social Security, this update is crucial. So let's break it down. So we've already been hit with the news about the 100% Social Security withholding starting March 27th. But now Friday brings a whole new level of drama that is happening as it relates to Social Security. So let's first talk about what's happening this Friday. All right. So let's address the elephant in the room. The government shutdown deadline is coming up this Friday, March 15th. And remember, back in September, when Congress was supposed to pass a budget for 2025, well, they didn't. They kicked the can down the road into December, then March, and now here we are again. If Congress doesn't pass a funding deal by Friday at midnight, we're officially going to be in a government shutdown. All right. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, that really depends on who you ask. Government officials claim that Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid will continue to keep running as essential services. But let's be honest, right? We've seen delays as it relates to this before. So let's talk about what is considered the mandatory versus non-mandatory spending. So Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid will continue to be funded. Other government services, SSA offices, call centers, VA services could see delays or even shutdowns. All right. So here's the catch: shutdowns slow down everything. So Social Security checks might not stop, but if you need to apply for benefits, if you need to fix an overpayment issue or get Medicare help, you could expect some delays. And with the 100% holding rule already set to hit in just 2 weeks, this can mean even more financial headaches for literally millions of Americans. So imagine just waking up one morning, right? Checking your bank account and seeing that your entire Social Security check is gone, right? No warning, no explanation, just gone. And for millions of Americans, that nightmare can soon, unfortunately, become a reality. And it's happening quickly. So the Social Security Administration just announced a major change in how they're going to recover overpaid benefits. And let me tell you, this could leave seniors, disabled individuals, any other vulnerable American completely without money in the near future, right? So let's talk about what's happening here, right? So up until now, if the government accidentally overpaid you, they can only take back 10% of your monthly Social Security check. And let's be honest, even that was tough for people on fixed incomes, but at least it allowed beneficiaries to keep at least 90% of their checks to be able to cover for the essentials like food, rent, and medication. But starting March 27, 2025, the SSA can now take 100% of your entire check until the so-called overpayment is fully paid. All right. So yeah, you heard that right. If Social Security says that they overpaid you, even if it was their mistakes, they could actually withhold every single dollar from your paycheck. And this isn't just some rare case, right? It could happen to millions of people. And SSA has already started sending out notices warning people about this policy change. So, why is this happening? So, officials say it's about the physical responsibility. All right. So, the SSA commissioner said we have a responsibility to safeguard taxpayers' funds and recover overpaid benefits as efficiently as possible, right? But let's be real, the SSA has had issues with overpayments for decades. Between 2015 to 2022, the agency made 7.1 billion in improper payments, most of them because of the government's mistakes. And Trump actually shared that he's saying Social Security fraud is out of control. And here's the kicker: even experts say that some overpayments aren't necessarily fraud, they're just government errors. And now, instead of fixing their system and fixing the issue, now they're putting the burden on seniors, disabled individuals, and surviving spouses. So, who's going to be impacted the most by this? And the question becomes, would you be impacted? So, this is going to impact people, retirees who are on Social Security, people on disability, SSDI, surviving spouses as well. So, if you depend on Social Security to pay for rent, buy food, or afford medication, this policy could literally devastate you. So, just to give you an example here, right? So, just hypothetically speaking, let's say you received a 58,000 overpayment bill, right? The SSA could withhold your entire check and unfortunately leave you in a really difficult position, right? And this is just, it's not some hypothetical scenario, right? It's already happening to people in Georgia, right? So there's a individual retiree, a Georgia retiree, who suddenly got hit with a $58,000 bill for overpayment she didn't even know about. And the SSA took her entire check and she ended up being homeless because of this, right? So what can you do to be able to prevent this? So now if you get an overpayment notice, do not ignore it. You do have options. So here's what you need to do immediately. Step number one, you want to call the SSA immediately, 1-800-772-1213. You want to ask why you were overpaid and how much they're claiming you owe. Number two, you want to request a lower withholding rate, so you can actually negotiate a repayment plan instead of losing your entire check all at once. Step number three, you can actually appeal the overpayment decision. So if you believe the amount is wrong or it wasn't your fault, you have the right to fight it. Step number four, you could actually apply for a waiver. So if repaying the overpayment would cause you financial hardship, you may not have to pay it all back at once. And as I mentioned, go ahead and call the SSA helpline at 1-800-772-1213. So this is serious, right? This millions of Americans could actually lose their entire Social Security check overnight. If you or someone you love relies on these benefits, you need to act now. We need to go ahead and let more people know about this, because this is going to have a huge impact starting literally this month in March. So share this video now so more people could be able to protect themselves. And let me know in the comments, by the way, if you have any comments or questions. What are your thoughts about this? But this can be really huge. So again, we have the government shutdown that is going to be taking place pretty soon here. And as I mentioned, now with this new policy as it relates to the overpayments, right, and having a lot of your paycheck being taken by the government, that is going to impact a lot of folks here as it relates to Social Security. So let me know your thoughts here. If you have any other topics that you would like me to cover as it relates to Social Security, taxes, or whatever the case is, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to go ahead and give you the latest and greatest update. But unfortunately, this is not the most exciting news here, but I do want to make sure that you all are aware of what's going on here, because again, these are going to be some major changes coming down the line. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more updates, especially if we end up going into this government shutdown. A lot more delays can be happening, and a lot more issues could be trickling down as it relates to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So let me know what you think. Again, a lot of conversations here on both sides. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care.